Hi guys, I'm July Lucy and I am August Lucy. In 10 days I leave for my first ever Disney cruise from Liverpool on a 3-day UK staycation cruise, and I have no idea what to expect. 5 days ago I got back from that cruise and I know exactly what to expect because I've lived it. So what I thought I would do is I'd make this video where I lay out what my expectations are, and then I would tell you if they were true in reality. So let's start at the beginning. Embarkation day. Now everybody boarding the ship has to have their vaccination status checked and they have to have a lateral flow test. So I expect this to be slow, long, boring, and probably the worst bit of the trip. That was absolutely not the case. It was quick, it was fluid. We went through one door, we turned one corner, we were into a booth, we were testing, we sat down, 10-minute wait, got the email. I'd got a bag full of puzzle books and things like that to keep us occupied. Didn't need them. We flowed easily from the car park to the coach. The only slow and annoying bit was there was roadworks in the centre of Liverpool, so what should have been a 5-minute drive or less down the dock actually turned into a 20-minute drive. But that wasn't too bad because a lot of the time we could see the boat from the coach. When I first board the ship, I expect I am going to be utterly blown away by the atmosphere and beauty. Well, yes and no. I had watched some vlogs of other Disney Cruise Line things where they embarked straight into the atrium. Now, because of the layout of Liverpool, we actually got on deck 1 and then we just went through a rather mundane corridor into a elevator and then a slightly nicer corridor, but we were shepherded into a bar where they were telling us we had to download the app. So the first thing we were doing was we're on our phone downloading the app on the Wi-Fi, and then we finally got moved through to the atrium on deck 3, and that's where the excitement begun, because when you do walk through into the atrium and there's characters on the steps, it is so gorgeous. That does have quite an impact on you, but actually boarding the ship, you've got a few not so impressive bits to get through first. Slightly disappointed, but the payoff was worth it in the end. We have booked an inside cabin because it was cheap, a standard inside cabin, so I expect it is going to be small, but not too small. It wasn't too small for the 3 of us at all. We were only there 3 nights. We made a mess of it, but then we make a mess of every hotel room we go in. But we coped absolutely fine. We didn't spend much time in it. It was for sleeping and getting changed in. There will be no natural light in the cabin and it is going to get dark, so I expect that to be a problem when we wake up in the morning and also if we try and navigate round at night. It wasn't too much of a problem, but that's because we left the bathroom light on and we left it on overnight and we left the door ajar so we had some light. We woke up absolutely fine. Our body clocks just overrode any kind of other factor. We just woke up at 7:15 when we would normally wake up. We have discussed it though, and if we do book another cruise, we will definitely be looking at what the price is to upgrade. But we've said if it's more than say £300-400, we wouldn't upgrade. We were happy in an inside cabin, but it would be nice to have the window. We have an assigned stateroom, so no, I don't expect to be upgraded. We didn't get upgraded. This is a limited capacity cruise, so I don't expect it to feel busy at any point. It didn't, and that's where I'm worried we might be spoilt if we ever go on another cruise. There was a really nice number of people there. If you're going to be doing trivias in bars and if you're going to be doing deck parties, you do want other people there. You don't want it to feel dead. And there were, and it was fun and there was atmosphere, but there was plenty of space. You were never crammed in anywhere. The same with the restaurants. You never felt there were too many people and it was too noisy. It was a really nice level. So I'm a little worried if we do another one that it might be a bit of a culture shock. I expect I will eat too much. Surprisingly not. Now, I did eat all day. I had 3 meals a day and I snacked in between. but the portions that they give you are very realistic. Now, often when you're in all-you-can-eat situations, they will deliberately give you small portions, and that wasn't the case. It was very much the kind of portion I would serve myself at dinner, so I was never left after a meal with that awful Christmas dinner, pain under the ribs, can't move, ruined yourself kind of feeling. I was always just satisfied and able to carry myself through to the next meal. Of the 3 restaurants on board, I am most excited about Artist's Palate, and I expect this to be my favourite restaurant. Oh, good grief, yes. Oh, good grief. That was the highlight in every respect, not just of restaurants. We had the best evening at Artist's Palate. It was our first evening. I won't give any spoilers if you don't want one, but the dinner show that they do is just beyond any expectations you might have. It's fantastic. The atmosphere in the restaurant itself, the decor is just beautiful beyond belief, and the food was fantastic there. If anything, the food at Rapunzel's just slightly tipped it for my palate. It was Germanic food at Rapunzel's, which I do like. I like the pretzel breads and that kind of food. But for overall, everything taken into consideration, Artist's Palate, hands down. I do not expect to spend additional money on food and drink. Looking back, this was a bit unrealistic. Now, we spent money on merchandise. I had a spa appointment that cost money, and we had a bingo game, and I'd done my research ahead of time and I'd planned on spending money on those 3 things, so they were budgeted in. Now, you get a soft drinks package, and we decided that we were just going to stick to that soft drink package. But the truth is, if you go to an activity in a bar, you can fill up your own drinks bottle on deck beforehand, which we did do, but often we'd drunk that and it would mean going back up there and getting that, and you're sitting down and there's a waiter, and it's so easy to just order a Coke from him. And if you do order a soft drink, it's a canned drink, so you have to pay for it. Hugh, I don't drink, but Hugh had, I think he had a couple of beers, so just a handful there, nothing major. I think it maybe came to $20 max, and that included getting a Dole Whip on deck. We're booked in to see Dreams on the first night, and I am expecting this to be a West End calibre show. Okay, we got an email a couple of days before we went saying they had increased capacity in the show and you no longer needed to book. So the fact that we'd booked on the first night became moot. We actually went to see it on the 3rd night, and I do know that since moving to Southampton, they've added the Rapunzel show. Gutted, I would have loved to have seen that. Yes, it was West End calibre in terms of performances and in terms of stagecraft and direction, lighting, everything was West End calibre. It was a lot of very famous Disney music strung together with a rather sweet story. So in terms of the narrative and the originality, it was more in line with one of the theme park shows than the West End, but the quality was fantastic. We talk about this at great length on the trip report we did on our podcast, so if you want to hear more about our thoughts on things like this, the food, the shows, check out the podcast. I expect a little hesitancy from Bonnie about going to the kids club, but I expect she will love it and want to stay for more. Absolutely not. No hesitancy. She ran into that room, couldn't get away from us quick enough. Now, having said that, they do a 2.5-hour session, and at the end of it, she came bouncing out. She'd had a lovely good time, but surprisingly, she wasn't like, I want to go back right now. She was happy to go back the following day, but I think that they must know their own clients, and they knew that 2.5 hours was a really nice length of time for that age group. So it worked out perfectly in every respect. I expect that Bonnie and I will really enjoy the organised activities like napkin folding and things like that, and do as many of them as we can, but that Hugh will probably prefer to wander the ship. And that's exactly what it was, but that's our family, that's our dynamic, and it just works out well for all 3 of us. As it was, they didn't do the napkin folding or the towel folding, which I was really disappointed about because I'd read about those and I was looking forward to them. But we did family crafts, we did learn to draw Spider-Man, and then the three of us did 3 trivia things because me and Hugh do like a pub quiz. I've booked a massage at Senses Spa, and whilst I love massages and this is a big treat just for myself, I kind of expect it to be fairly standard and probably not worth the ticket price. And that's exactly what it was. I have spas regularly at home and it was just as good as the spa that I usually go to, but it was twice the money. We expected that. We're on a Disney cruise, we pay it. I'm glad I had it. It was a really nice morning to myself. Well, hour to myself. But you're not going to get 100% better than what you do elsewhere, which is what you're paying. When it comes to the pools, I expect that I will probably do the slides once each. Bonnie might try a splash in the pool, but that it will be too cold to spend any amount of time there. It wasn't too cold. Good grief, the second day we were like, it was sunburn weather. It was beautiful. I think the captain must have found us a good spot on the satellite. Unfortunately, I did just do both the slides just once, which is a shame because I would have loved to have done the yellow one. I'm sorry, I can't remember what it's called. I would have loved to have done the yellow one again. It was fast, it was exhilarating. We went in the pools twice. We had to queue and you got sort of 15-minute slots. We really enjoyed it. It wasn't the weather that sent us inside. There was just so many other things to do. I expect there to be characters everywhere, and there was. There was Marvel Morning and the characters filled the atrium and some of the other locations as well, and then the rest of the time you had the Fab Six dotted all over the place, mainly in the atrium, but you could easily find them wandering down corridors. Oh, and princesses. There were all the princesses as well, and once a day they would line the staircase for selfies on the staircase. That just made the whole place look beautiful. Even though I know there will be a lot to do, I expect there to be at least half an hour in the middle of the trip when we're all a little bit bored. This did happen, I'm sorry to say. It happened twice. Once was the first day. We did loads of things. It was really exciting. There was lots going on. We went back to the room and our luggage wasn't there. And we waited for the luggage because they had our swimming costumes in it. We wanted to decorate our door with magnets, wanted to get changed for dinner. And we didn't really want to leave and go do something else thinking, oh, the bags will be here in a minute. The bags will be here in a minute. So we just hung around and that was frustrating. That was about an hour and a half that we just sort of hung around in the cabin, and that was annoying for it to be our first day. The second time we had planned on doing bingo, and when we arrived at the venue it was at capacity. We were just a bit late. We learnt our lesson for the third day. We make sure we get there really early to get the pre-sales, but that kind of left us with nothing specific to do. So we explored the ship and that was nice, but I personally felt frustrated because I thought we'd got our day planned really well and we ended up with this kind of nothing space. Now if I had my time again, I would always have a plan B and I would always be prepared to like, oh well, in that case we'll go up to this area and we'll do that, or we'll just sit on deck, or we'll go and get an ice cream. But we did that thing, I don't know if your family does it, where we stand around in a corridor going, what do you want to do then? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? What should we do? That's not great. That's not the ship's fault, that's our organisation, and there is a ton of stuff to do on there. It's just being ready to do it, I think. I anticipate buying a Spirit jersey and a pin, but not much else. Oh, nearly. The entire haul was a Spirit jersey. Huh? Yeah? Yeah? 2 pins. Do I have them here? And I bought myself the Donald Loungefly. Oops. I expect to cry at least once. In a good way. Once. Try a dozen times a day. Hugh's current stance is He's curious and he's looking forward to it, but he doesn't think that it will be for him. I expect him to change his mind.
Wasn't really for me. No, there were elements of it that were for me and some that weren't. I thought the food was amazing. Being on a boat's always nice, but some of the actual Disneyfication of it, I thought didn't seem to really land with. I'd be interested to see what it's like next time if we're not confined to a boat the whole time and we can actually get off and go somewhere exciting. So yeah, all in all, 3 stars.
I expect Bonnie will love it and want to go again.
I loved it and I do want to go again, and my favourite bits were Animator's Palette and the theatre show, Disney Dreams.
And finally, I expect to love every moment and fall in love with Disney cruising. Of course I did. Of course I did. I mean, what's not to love? It's just being trapped in a magical box with this peaceful surrounding on the outside and this joy and funness on the inside. It's amazing. I love it. And we booked a placeholder and we will be going again. So this is exciting because I don't know if any of those things are true, but by this point in the video, you probably do. So thank you very much for listening. Goodbye. Okay, that's it from July Lucy, and all August Lucy has got to say is our vlogs are now live if you want to see our whole trip. We also did a full trip report on our podcast, and I've got videos planned on placeholders, what they are and how to use them, and our future cruising plans. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you real soon. Goodbye!